D'Lo Jordan, and this is VENUM. Welcome to The Void. This is episode 42. I'd like to direct you to the video description below this video. There you will find links to my full network. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and click that bell to enable notifications. It's the only way to be notified when a new video is uploaded. On this episode, I'm talking AEW Dynamite, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, Wednesday Night Dynamite, from February 2nd, 2022. That's 2/2/2022. Now, the standout thing, in my opinion, was, by the end of this, I was left with the thought, was that main event match, was MF versus CM Punk the best match in the history of AEW? MF, Maxwell Friedman. I'm not big on middle names. It's just more words to say. So, MF. But we'll get there, because this was the main event, and we'll save it for the end. I'm going to talk about this match, and you know, we'll talk about it. But from the top, show went on air. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. We're live from Chicago. Right at the top, music starts playing. Out comes Jon Moxley, or as the ring announcer introduced him, Jon Moxley, which is like complete nonsense. The ring announcer sounded like a motorcycle or scooter with a modified exhaust going by. John. It's just like, dude. Jon Moxley came out. He's wearing a sleeveless t-shirt and black pants. He looked like he just wandered in off the street. Just unprofessional looking. He gets in the ring, completes his entrance, and his opponent comes out. His opponent's accompanied by Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. His opponent is Wheeler Yuta. He of Best Friends contingent. So they had a uninspired 10-minute match, and it's like neither Orange Cassidy nor Danhausen came into play in any kind of way. They just stood there. It was like, why were they even there? Why were they even there? During this match, I was setting up my new printer, so I didn't pay attention to much of this, I must say. And Moxley won with a butterfly suplex. I think they're trying to pass that butterfly suplex off as a double underhook elevated DDT, but no, it's quite clearly a butterfly suplex. So that's what he had in mind. It's a no for me, dog. Post-match, Danielson comes out. He gets in the ring. Materialized the mic. Got it from somewhere. He got it out in the mud. He started talking. So, Bryan Danielson said to Moxley, so, should we fight? Should we have a match? And he poses that question, and the people want, yeah, we want to see it. The people respond favorably. And then Danielson kind of switches lanes and says, we shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting together. So he makes a pitch for himself and Moxley to team up And I thought Danielson made a compelling argument. He outlined the possibilities. Look at the current field. We got a Millennial Cowboy is the world champion. A guy dressed up like a dinosaur is a tag champion, and the TNT champion is all he does is vlogs. So he says, "Oh, you got all this talent out here." Named a few people I don't know. So and so, we could take them under our wing and teach them right, and So he's basically pitching to what it seems like form a stable with, form a faction with Jon Moxley. So that's interesting. They took this in a different direction than I thought they would. And like I said, Danielson made a pretty compelling argument. If any of that stuff he talked about happened, that'd be fantastic. So after that, this show nosedived straight off of a cliff. Because when we were back in the ring, Brandy Rhodes is there. She's in the middle of the ring with a microphone. And as soon as I saw that, I said, oh, dear God, this could be a spectacular train wreck. But at least you might get some entertainment value out of whatever goes on here. That was not the case. Brandy said, oh, it's nice to be here in Cleveland. It's like, you dumb bitch. Chicago booed her. And it's like, what? It's like, what is she trying to do? It's like, what are you trying to do? Who are you? Who are you, Brandy? Like, so she's running her fucking mouth. And Dan Lambert comes out and he interrupts. He comes out. He's accompanied by Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, who are just backseat players in all this. There's just nothing there. So Lambert and Brandy just started having an awful back and forth. You're like, ugh, none of this is funny or engaging or entertaining. It's like, the crowd chanted, shut the fuck up. And I'm sitting there looking at this lineup, and it's like, this is Ted Bundy versus Charles Manson. There's nobody to root for here, and we don't give a fuck. Just as long as they both end up killing each other. This was a complete waste of time. It got no point across, and then Brandy slapped Dan Lambert in the face. The next thing you know, Paige Van Sant, she jogged out. They had a brief scuffle, but thankfully, we found the women's locker room. They all ran out, and they got in between Brandy and Paige and separated them. It's just like, nobody wants to see any of this. Why in the tried, French fried, dunderfuck is this happening? Why is this happening? Nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see this at all. Just disgusting. But speaking of shit nobody wants to see, after that, Matt Hardy was in another stairwell with his poison vortex. HPV. Hardy's poison vortex. And it's just like, I can't. I couldn't even pretend to pay attention to whatever the fuck went on here. Just, Back in the arena, the Kings of the Black Throne, or the Knights of the Black Throne, it's one of those two. The ring announcer said Kings. The lower third name graphic said Knights. So, not sure what the fuck. Malachi Black and Brody King, right? They're the Kings / Knights of the Black Throne. They came out. They're getting ready for a tag team match. Their opponents were the Bastard Pack and Penta El Cero Miedo. So they came out. They're accompanied by Alex Abrahantes, Double A. Pac had bandages over his eyes, and he was going to start the match. It's just like, what is this? Nobody believes he's blind in any kind of way. All Malachi has done is spit some liquid in his face. Nobody's buying any of this, especially how long ago it happened. Pac proceeded to wrestle like the bandages were see-through. He's ducking and dodging, and then he just took them off. And it's like, I don't know what the fuck. Don't know what the fuck. So after that initial weirdness, they started having a pretty decent tag match. The crowd seemed a bit distracted, disinterested, and like they seemed like they were just trying to make their own fun while this match was taking place. Although Penta Miedo, they were completely into him. Anything he did, the crowd was into it. So of the four individuals, Penta won these people over somehow. I don't know. So eventually Malachi Black spit the mist into Penta's face, and then they both, he and old Brody King, did their tag finisher, Dante's Inferno. Malachi gets him up for a suplex, throws him to Brody. Brody does a power slam, and they pin Pac 1, 2, 3. So welcome back, Pac. And yeah, I'm not sure what the direction is for this. It just seems like stuff happening. More just stuff happening. Next, Adam Cole was backstage for a direct-to-camera interview. And I guess the whole aura of this was supposed to be like, oh, let me rehab my image. Cole said people are going to see a new side of him because this Friday he's going to take on Evil Uno on Rampage. When I was watching this, I busted out laughing because what the fuck? Oh, you're going to start taking me seriously now. You're going to see a new side of me. Friday, I'm having a match with Evil Uno. He might as well have said, Friday, I'm having a match with Larry, Mo, and Curly. Just, who cares? Who cares? Adam Cole is just, I don't care to see him. He looks like shit physically, and he hasn't done anything impressive since he's been a part of this company. After that, we're back in the arena. Nyla Rose came out. She's accompanied by Vicky Guerrero. She's going one-on-one with Ruby Soho. Soho's out next. They kind of jump-started the match. And this thing started getting going, and I'm sitting there watching this, and I don't think I've ever heard the Chicago crowd this quiet for an AEW show thus far. It was just brutal. They didn't give a fuck about any of this. So Nyla Rose won with sit-out powerbomb, and those are all the things I know. That's all I know about this match. Although Ruby Soho seems to be falling short of what everybody expected from her. I don't know. Maybe she just wasn't that good to begin with, but this isn't the run away from WWE and make a huge impact like everybody thought it was going to be. She's kind of falling faster. Breathe your life into me. So anyway, after that, the Gun Club were backstage with a camera, and they happened upon Jungle Boy. Then they all just proceeded to do some awful looking, like, middle school play fighting. It just what was this? And then they chucked Jungle Boy outside, pushed him through a door, and then threw him in the snow. And then they just started running off. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then Christian Cage and Dino Face are there. And it's like, okay, so they chased them off. I mean, they just took off running down the street outside the building. And it's like there's fucking snow on the ground. And these guys aren't wearing t-shirts. I don't know. I don't know. Like, don't they still have some gear or something in the building they brought? They just took off running down the street. They're out of here. And I don't think anyone wants to see this. I don't think anyone wants to see the Gun Club versus the Jurassic Experience or whoever. Back in the arena, Tony Schiavone introduced the AEW World Champion Adam Hangman Page, and if they didn't keep saying that, then you would just forget he was the world champion, because he doesn't feel like such. He's just like some guy. Yeah, he just feels so mid-card. I'm just not getting he's the top guy, he's the number one guy in this company vibe from Adam Page at all. He feels like he's walking around with a TNT championship. Anyway. So Page came out, and Tony had a initial opening statement. Then Page just took the microphone, and Tony fucked off, because that's how they do. And Adam Hangman Page just started delivering an interview about Lance Archer. He's talking about Archer. They got a match coming up. It's Texas Death for I don't fucking know why. So eventually Page calls out Lance Archer. But Dan Lambert came out with Jake Roberts. I've written here, this is too much Lambert for one episode. He's not good enough to justify it. And I don't think people are really into his shit. And his voice is just annoying. So too much Lambert on this episode. Lambert and Jake Roberts each said some shit. They said some stuff, and then Lance Archer storms in out of nowhere and tells them both to shut up. And it's like, despite having two managers that are perfectly capable of talking, and despite the fact that Lance Archer's not very good at speaking himself, he came out and started speaking. So I'm not sure. Why even have two managers? Why were they even there if he's just going to come out and do his own talking anyway? Why were they even there? Why have two managers and this guy's still trying to just... This is also confusing. It's like... I'm just thinking back, and it's like, how did we get here? Why is this upcoming match Texas Death? Has any of this been explained? Like, shit is just happening, and there's like no reason. So Archer and Page brawled around a little bit. Archer chokeslammed him on the steel ring steps, and then eventually he put him through a table with his Razor's Edge move or whatever. And then, despite still having two managers out there, Lance Archer grabbed the microphone again and said some more stuff, and it sounded crappy because he's not a good talker. So I don't know what they're going for here. This is not good. It's not good. It's not doing anybody any favors. It's not elevating Lance Archer, and it's not making Adam Page feel like a world champion. So this is just hefty, hot horse shit. After that, Chris Jericho was backstage doing a direct-to-camera interview, because he can't not be on the show. Like, what were you expecting? He said, he didn't appreciate Santana and Ortiz's actions last week. They refused to tag him in, and this, that, and the third. And at this point, I'm thinking, where the fuck is Eddie Kingston? Why are we I don't care about this whole inner circle turmoil bullshit. No one does. Just shit or get off the pot. Split or don't. Preferably split. Get these people away from Chris Jericho and give them the chance to succeed on their own merits, because that's what everybody wants. And Jericho's, oh, we're going to have an inner circle team meeting next week in the middle of the ring. Like, what? What? He's, oh, attendance is mandatory. So, meh, just like shrug emoji. So I'm just sitting there in a fucking daze, like, oh my god. So, but back in the arena, MF made his entrance, Maxwell Friedman, and they went to a break. When they came back, CM Punk made his entrance. I was thinking, this main event seems to be starting a little early. It was like 45 minutes left of the show, 45, 50 minutes. I'm like, is this right? Is this the actual main event, or is something going to happen after this? Is there another match? Is there an angle? I just didn't know what was going on. What's going on? So this, for me, has been one of the, actually the most interesting feud, rivalry, storyline, anything they got going on AEW, on regular Wednesday Night Dynamite. And these two guys went out and put on a fucking clinic. Like I said, this match was about the last 45 minutes of the show. Both men are professional as fuck. There was nothing silly or outlaw about this match. And like I said, they had a very long, very involved. This was like a great full-length pay-per-view style match. Pay-per-view singles match quality. Right? These two guys did a lot, but they told a nice story. The crowd, the people in the crowd were with them every step of the way. You know, they were on the hook for everything. And so, like, the match is going, and about 20, 25 minutes in, MJF pulls off either some wrist tape or something he had in his trunks, some kind of ligature or material, and with the ref not looking, he begins to choke CM Punk with we'll just call it wrist tape. Begins to choke CM Punk with the wrist tape, then transitions into a sleeper so that the tape is obstructed from the view. And CM Punk went out. The ref did the 3 raises of the hand. CM Punk was out, and that was it. The ref called for the bell. MJF, his music starts playing. MF's music starts playing, and the people in the building were just shocked. Like, they couldn't believe what was going on. Punk's first loss comes in his hometown of Chicago and was a royal fuck. So MJF's there, he's getting ready to celebrate. And I guess when he raised his hand, he dropped the tape or something. Somehow the ligature he used to basically strangle the guy fell on the ground. And the referee discovers this, oh, you know, the fuck? What are you doing here? And so the ref finds the wrist tape MF used to choke CM Punk out, and decided, he went over, talked to the ring announcer, and they made an announcement. The match is being restarted, to a thunderous reaction from this crowd. It was the best news they had heard all night, it seemed like. So the match restarts. Immediately, MJF shows the referee, like, what are you doing? The referee shoves him back right into a CM Punk schoolboy roll-up. 1, 2. Oh, no, he kicks out. A bunch of people were, they thought that was it. Close near fall. So MJF started basically working over the entire left side of CM Punk. It was like Punk ran into a post, injured his shoulder and his arm, and then at one point he tweaked his knee. So just everything on Punk's left side is not 100%. So MJF is targeting that. At one point he goes for a figure 4. Punk's in the ring. His legs are hang underneath the bottom rope with the ring post in between, and MJF goes to apply that old Bret Hart figure four around the ring post, but he lost it and then was just holding on to one of CM Punk's legs. Then he just abandoned it, and the people chanted, "You fucked up! You fucked up!" It's like, Jesus, this crowd is brutal. Somebody front row had a beautiful sign. Not beautiful in the like decoration, but just in the message. Beautiful message, right? That sign simply said, "Just enjoy wrestling. Just enjoy wrestling. If you like it, just enjoy wrestling." You know, now with the introduction of AEW as a second large North American promotion, there's all this picking sides and all this tribalism, and WWE's better, no, AEW's better, blah, 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 you know, just enjoy wrestling. Watch what you like and enjoy the shit out of it. That's, such is life. You don't have to... Your thing doesn't have to be the best thing, It's an imaginary fictional war. There's no war. So towards the end of this thing, Wardlow walked out. He came out and he got face to face with CM Punk as if he was gonna, MJF is laying on the ground behind Wardlow, and he gets face to face with Punk as if to like block Punk's path. But then Wardlow, like he came to his senses, and then he just stepped to the side as if to say, "Have at him. Go ahead and get him." What we didn't see at that moment was Wardlow behind his back handing MF the Dynamite diamond ring, and he did it behind his back. A later replay would reveal this, but at that time you couldn't see it. So CM Punk rolls MF back in the ring, and he gets in himself, but Wardlow motioned as if he was going to follow Punk in the ring, and this drew the referee and Punk. They were both momentarily distracted. But Punk, deviates first, and he turned away and left the ref trying to tell Wardlow not to get involved. When Punk turns around, MF, boom, clocks him with the diamond ring, hops on top, and just pinned him. Just pinned CM Punk 1, 2, 3. And so at the end of all this, Punk is actually handed his first loss in his hometown. The people were stunned to silent. You just saw a lot of hands on heads, hands over mouths. They didn't know how to process this. It was like, especially after when the match restarted, everybody thought, okay, now Punk's going to win. He didn't. He technically lost twice. And that's a bold move. I'll say that. That's a strong move. This elevates MF big time. And like, my mind is racing now. Where do they go from here? So at the end of this all, I've got to admit that this was the best match I've ever seen on AEW event. I was with it the whole time. I just sat there and watched this thing and enjoyed it for what it was, which was a damn good match. This thing was tightly worked, logical the whole way. They never quit registering the damage each of them had taken. Both guys' body language was impeccable. I wish I could see more stuff like this, because this is wrestling, There wasn't a bunch of plunder with both guys bleeding and kicking out of every devastating move ever invented. Instead, they just simply wrestled. and they did so at such a high level that a performance of this caliber will most likely, it'll be lost on the rest of the locker room. They won't be able to properly appreciate it, dissect it, take it in. They won't get why this was so special, and they won't be able to replicate it either. And that's unfortunate, because this match could be literally used as study material for the Sammy Guevaras and Jungle Boys of the world in this company, who have potential, but currently are still clearly just stringing together a series of moves and spots rather than actually wrestling. So, best match ever in AEW history. It happened on the 2nd of February, 2022. So that was that. The best match that ever happened in AEW history was preceded by an hour and 10-15 minutes of hefty, unholy horseshit. But that brings us to the end of that show. That means that's the end of this show. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and click that bell to enable notifications. It's the only way to be notified when a new video is uploaded. That is all I got for you on this episode. Until next time, I'm D'Lo Jordan, and this right here, this is VENUM.